Welcome to Quiz Class. Today we have a 100-question quiz on the music of the 1950s. Please share your score in the comments. Which form of 1950s rhythm and blues emphasized multi-part vocal harmonies and meaningless backing lyrics? Rockabilly, doo-wop, or surf rock? Doo-wop. Which British musician led the skiffle craze in the 1950s? Wee Willie Harris, Tommy Steele, or Lonnie Donegan? Lonnie Donegan. Who recorded the hit song Rock Around the Clock? Elvis Presley, Johnny Cash, or Billy Haley and his Comets? Bill Haley and his Comets. What were the stylistic origins of rock and roll? Rhythm and blues, gospel, jazz, and more? Pop, classical, reggae, and hip hop, or gospel, soul, funk, and disco? Rhythm and blues, gospel, jazz, and more. Which artist is known for the hit song Peggy Sue? Buddy Holly, Chuck Berry, or Little Richard? Buddy Holly. Which artist dominated the charts with classics like Unforgettable and Mona Lisa? Johnny Ray, Nat King Cole, or Frankie Lane? Nat King Cole. Who recorded the novelty song The Purple People Eater in 1958? George Jones, Hank Williams, or Sheb Wooley? Sheb Wooley. Which artist is known as the master of honky-tonk style and had hits like Cold Cold Heart and Your Cheating Heart? Domenico Modugno, Hank Williams, or Billie Holiday? Hank Williams. Who won the third annual Eurovision Song Contest in 1958? Billie Holiday, André Claveau, or Domenico Modugno? André Claveau. Which artist is known for the hit song Hound Dog? Little Richard, Jerry Lee Lewis, or Elvis Presley? Elvis Presley. Which genre of music dominated popular music in the mid and late 1950s? Traditional pop, rock and roll, or doo-wop? Rock and roll. Which television show featuring rock and roll performers and went national in 1957? American Bandstand, The Dick Clark Show, or X Factor? American Bandstand. Which artist is known for hit records like The World is Waiting for the Sunrise? Little Richard, Chuck Berry, or Les Paul? Les Paul. Which artist fused gospel and blues, inventing rock and roll electric guitar? Sister Rosetta Tharpe, Little Richard, or Mitch Miller? Sister Rosetta Tharpe. Who had hits with songs like Whatever Will Be and Secret Love? Frankie Lane, Doris Day or Johnny Ray? Doris Day. Which artist had hits with songs like That's Amore and Sway? Frankie Laine, Dean Martin, or Johnny Ray? Dean Martin. Who had hits with songs like Love Me Tender and Loving You? Elvis Presley, Frankie Laine, or Johnny Ray? Elvis Presley. Which artist had hits with songs like Dream Lover and Mac the Knife? Johnny Ray, Frankie Laine, or Bobby Darin? Bobby Darin. Who had their first national hit with the song Why Baby Why at the age of 23? George Jones, Hank Williams, or Johnny Ray? George Jones. Which style of country music dominated the early 1950s with songs of heartbreak, loneliness, and despair? Nashville Sound, Honky Tonk, or Boogie Woogie? Honky Tonk. Which genre of music gained popularity in the 1950s and featured artists like Miles Davis and John Coltrane? Jazz, soul, or house? Jazz. Who won the Eurovision Song Contest in 1958 with the song Volare? Cory Brocken, Lise Asia, or Domenico Modugno? Domenico Modugno. Who popularized Spanish-language rock music throughout Latin America with the song La Bamba? Pedro Infante, Andy Russell, or Richie Valens? Richie Valens. Which song achieved the highest chart position in the UK in 1957? All Shook Up, Jailhouse Rock, or Diana? Jailhouse Rock. In which year did the Iranian government ban rock and roll? 1950, 1954, or 1958? 1958. Who won the first Melodifestivalen in 1959? Ella Fitzgerald, Teddy Schulten, or Berry Gordy Jr.? Teddy Schulten. Which three musicians were killed in a plane crash in Iowa in 1959? Buddy Holly, Richie Valens, and the Big Bopper, Elvis Presley, Johnny Cash, or Jerry Lee Lewis, Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, and Sammy Davis Jr. And of course, that's Buddy Holly, Richie Valens, and the Big Bopper. Where did the recording sessions for Miles Davis's Kind of Blue take place in '59? New York, Cannes, or Stockholm? New York. Which country won the fourth Eurovision Song Contest in 1959? The Netherlands, France, or Sweden? The Netherlands. Which song by the Coasters was banned by the BBC in the UK in 1959? Blue and Green, Charlie Brown, or Mac the Knife? Charlie Brown. Which artist popularized the four-man group and brought the guitar to become the lead instrument in rock music? Elvis Presley, Little Richard, or Justin Timberlake? Elvis Presley. Who integrated country, western, rhythm and blues, and folk music into the musical mainstream? Frankie Laine, Johnny Ray, or Mitch Miller? Mitch Miller. Which artist was known as the Cry Guy and the Prince of Wales? Johnny Ray, Frankie Laine, or Frank Sinatra? Johnny Ray. Who released the hit song A Teenager in Love in 1959? Dion DiMucci, Elvis Presley, or the Diamonds? Dion DiMucci. Which of these songs was released by the Flamingos in 1959? I Only Have Eyes for You, Little Darlin', or Heartbreak Hotel? I Only Have Eyes for You. Who released Poor Little Fool in 1958? Wanda Jackson, Ricky Nelson, or the Diamonds? Ricky Nelson. What song did Wanda Jackson release in 1958? Get This Party Started, I'm Coming Up, or Let's Have a Party? Let's Have a Party. Whose rendition of Whole Lotta Shakin' Goin' On has gained the most traction? James Fay Roy Hall, Dave Curley Williams, or Jerry Lee Lewis? Jerry Lee Lewis. Who is the artist behind the 1956 hit The Train Kept a-Rollin'? Johnny Burnett, Bobby Freeman, or the Platters? Johnny Burnett. Who released The Great Pretender in 1955? Wanda Jackson, the Platters, or Bobby Freeman? The Platters. What song did the duo Les Paul and Mary Ford release in 1953? Do You Want to Dance, Bye Bye Love, or How High the Mountain, or How High the Moon? And the answer is How High the Moon, not the mountain, the moon. What is the name of B.B. King's 1951 hit song? Joe Cuba's Mambo, Chega de Saudade, or 3 O'Clock Blues? 3 O'Clock Blues. Who released Little Star in 1958? The Elegants, the Everly Brothers, or Bobby Freeman? The Elegants. Who released Only You in 1956? The Everly Brothers, the Diamonds, or the Platters? The Platters. What is the title of the 1956 hit by the Satins? In the middle of the night, in the still of the night, or the sound of silence? In the still of the night. Who is the artist behind the 1957 hit song Tutti Frutti? Elvis Presley, Little Richard, or Ray Charles? Little Richard. Which song did Big Bopper release in 1958? Chantilly Lace, Take Five, or What I Say? Chantilly Lace. Who released What I Say? Dave Brubeck, The Coasters, or Ray Charles? Ray Charles. What song did the Coasters release in 1957? Runnin', Searchin', or Cryin'? Searchin'. Question 50. Which of these songs did the Dave Brubeck Quartet release? Take My Hand, Take Five, or Take Me Away? Take Five. Who released Kansas City in 1959? Wilbur Harrison, Richie Valens, or Martin Denny? Wilbur Harrison. What song did the Cadillacs release in 1955? 1955, Speedoo, or That's All Right? Speedoo. What song did the Drifters release in 1956? Money Honey, Honky Tonk, or Soon Monsoon? Money Honey. Which of the following songs was a 1957 hit by Patsy Cline? Walkin' After Midnight, Man on the Moon, or Beds Are Burning? Walkin' After Midnight. Who released Earth Angel Will You Be Mine? The Penguins, Elvis Presley, or Patsy Cline? The Penguins. Who is the artist behind Diana, one of the biggest songs of the 1950s? Elvis Presley, Paul Anka, or Bob Dylan? Paul Anka. Lonely Teardrops, a song written by Berry Gordy Jr., was released as a single in 1958 and performed by who? Jackie Wilson, Lonnie Donegan, or the Crests? Jackie Wilson. Who released the 1950s hit 16 Candles? Jefferson Airplane, Little Richard, or the Crests? The Crests. Question 59. Which American folk song was performed and made famous by Lonnie Donegan in 1956? Jailhouse Rock, Rock Island Line, or Like a Rolling Stone? Rock Island Line. Peggy Sue is a 1950s hit by which iconic artist? Tina Turner, Bob Dylan, or Buddy Holly? Buddy Holly. What song did Gordon Jenkins and the Weavers release in 1950? Goodnight Irene, Come on Eileen, or Jolene? Goodnight Irene. Mona Lisa is a 50s hit by Nat King Cole with whom? Dolly Parton, Ray Charles, or Les Baxter? Les Baxter. Which of these 1950s hits was recorded by Anton Karas? Sam's Song, Third Man Theme, or There's No Tomorrow? Third Man Theme. Who released Chattanooga Shoeshine Boy? Red Foley, K-Star, or the Ames Brothers? Red Foley. Who released My Foolish Heart in 1950? Bing Crosby, Billy Eckstine, or Frankie Laine? Billy Eckstine. Which of these songs was a 50s hit by the Ames Brothers? Dear Hearts and Gentle People, Hoop-dee-hoo, Hoop-dee-doo, Can Anyone Explain? Can anyone explain? Who released the 50s hit Harbor Lights? Sammy Kaye, Eileen Barton, or Nat King Cole? Sammy Kaye. Who released the 1951 hit Come On to My House? Rosemary Clooney, Les Baxter, or Mario Lanza? Rosemary Clooney. What song did Nat King Cole and Les Baxter release in 1951? Because of You, On Top of Old Smoky, or Too Young? Too Young. Which of these songs is a hit by Mario Lanza? Tennessee Waltz, The Loveliest Night of the Year, or Tony Bennett? The Loveliest Night of the Year. Who released the 1951 hit Tennessee Waltz? Elvis Presley, Chuck Berry, or Patti Page? Patti Page. What song was released by Guy Mitchell and Mitch Miller? Sound Off, My Truly Truly Fair, or It's No Sin? My Truly Truly Fair. Who released the 1952 hit Blue Tango? Ringo Starr, K-Star, or Leroy Anderson? Leroy Anderson. What song did K-Star release in 1952? Wheel of Fortune, Cry, or You Belong With Me? Wheel of Fortune. Who released the song I Went to Your Wedding? Patsy Cline, Dolly Parton, or Patti Page? Patti Page. Who released Here in My Heart during the 50s? Eddie Fisher, Al Martino, or Stan Freeman? Al Martino. What was the title of the 1953 hit by Les Baxter? April in Portugal, September in Sweden, or White December? April in Portugal. Who released the 50s hit Don't Let the Stars Get in Your Eyes? Perry Como, Pee Wee Hunt, or Stan Freberg? Perry Como. Who released P.S. I Love You in 1953? The Hilltoppers, June Valley, or Pee Wee Hunt? The Hilltoppers. What song did Ray Anthony release in the 50s? Anna, Tell Me You're Mine, or Dragnet? Dragnet. Rags to Riches was recorded by Percy Faith and who? Tony Bennett, Perry Como, or June Valley? Tony Bennett. Who released the 1953 hit A Compari? Ray Anthony, Elvis Presley, or Julius LaRosa? Julius LaRosa. Who released Hernando's Hideaway in 1954? Frank Sinatra, Archie Bleyer, or Tony Bennett? Archie Bleyer. Which song did Frank Sinatra release in 1954? Answer Me My Love, This Old House, or Young at Heart? Young at Heart. Who released That's Amore? Patti Page, Dean Martin, or K-Star? Dean Martin. Who released the iconic song If I Give My Heart to You? Doris Day, Patsy Cline, or Don Cornell? Doris Day. Finish the title of the song by Perez Prado. Cherry Pink and Apple Blossom. What? Green, red, or white? White. Who released The Yellow Rose of Texas in 1955? Roger Williams, Mitch Miller, or Bing Crosby? Mitch Miller. Which song did Pat Boone release during the 50s? Rock Around the Clock, Blue Suede Shoes, or Ain't That a Shame? Ain't That a Shame. The two chart-topping songs by Elvis Presley in 1956 are Heartbreak Hotel in first, and what other song in second? Don't Be Cruel, Jailhouse Rock, or Blue Suede Shoes? Don't Be Cruel. Who was the artist behind the iconic Lisbon Antigua? Pat Boone, Morris Stoloff, or Nelson Riddle? Nelson Riddle. Who released My Prayer in 1956? Elvis Presley, the Platters, or the Penguins? The Platters. Which of these artists released Green Door? Bill Doggett, Jim Lowe, or Fats Domino? Jim Lowe. Who released No Not Much? Four Tops, the Four Lads, or the Who? The Four Lads. Which of these songs by Elvis Presley was the Billboard's #1 smash hit in 1957? All Shook Up, Blue Suede Shoes, or Suspicious Minds? All Shook Up. What song did Guy Mitchell release during the 50s? Too Much, Young Love, or Singing the Blues? Singing the Blues. Which of these songs was released by Perez Prado in 1958? Witch Doctor, Patricia, or Return to Me? Patricia. Who released the late 50s hit Tequila? The Champs, Ricky Nelson, or The Elegants? The Champs. The Battle of New Orleans is the chart-topping hit of 1959, recorded by which of these artists? Paul Anka, Johnny Horton, or Bobby Darin? Johnny Horton. Who released Pink Shoelaces in 1959? Dolly Parton, Doris Day, or Dodie Stevens? Or Sevens? Dodie Stevens, or Sevens. I'm not sure. Bonus question. What kind of music developed in the United States in the early 1950s that was largely influenced by the blues? Let us know the answer in the comments. Thanks for playing this quiz. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell. See you next time.